Hey, okay, so I healed my thyroid, my Hashimoto's disease, my underactive thyroid, my hypothyroidism, however you want to call it. I was able to heal it by getting the silver amalgam fillings removed from my mouth. Boom, there you go. There's the answer to the question of the video. In this video, I'm gonna go into some more stuff. I'm gonna share my backstory and how I was able to research and find this out and finally get it healed. Praise God. Hopefully, this might be an encouragement to you. Maybe you don't have thyroid issues, but maybe you're struggling with other things, and this story might encourage you and to maybe do your own research and try to dig a little deeper with things. Okay, so first of all, I started having about well, I was 26, 28, something like that, about 15 years ago. I had started getting chest pains. I'd never gotten physicals, annual physicals, or checkups, so I went into the doctor and he's like, well, let's start with the blood panel. So I got my full blood panel, and it came back that I had low T3 and T4. And he said, hey, you have underactive thyroid. You have hypothyroidism. And I'm like, oh, doc, well, what does that mean? He's like, well, we're going to put you on this hormone replacement. It's a synthetic hormone called Synthroid or levothyroxine. And we'll get you on it and you'll be fine. And this is normal. Lots of people take it, especially women. Uh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. But I think it's something like 10% of guys deal with it, and it's mostly girls that deal with it. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm like, gosh, doc, is there anything I could do? Is it my diet? Is there something I need to change? No, sorry. Is this just something you're gonna have to deal with the rest of your life? That's what I was told. I'm like, okay, man, I was really bummed. I mean, on one hand, you're happy because you have an answer to your problem. I started taking the Synthroid, and my chest pains went away. And but I started doing some reading, and over time too, I was just been tired. I was tired a lot. I remember posting Facebook a lot, and my brother-in-law messaged me one time, and he's like, "Rob, what's up? You're always on the couch whenever you make posts. Like I'm laying down, you know." And I'm like, "I am. I'm in my 20s, and I'm just always tired. That's not normal. Why am I so tired all the time?" So just doing my own research, started reading about my hypothyroidism, just thinking this is what's causing it, because I know that hypothyroidism, some of the symptoms are weight gain, low energy, things like that. And the Synthroid's supposed to fix all that stuff, but it doesn't fully. It does help, but it doesn't fix it, for me at least. Um, so I read about this thing called Hashimoto's disease, and I read about desiccated pig thyroid. The desiccated pig thyroid being more bioidentical hormone, and your body's able to absorb it and know what to do with it better. So I go into the doctor and ask him about these two things. First, with Hashimoto's disease, his answer to me was, no, that's super rare that people get that. You just have this. It's just something you're gonna have to deal with the rest of your life. Sorry, buddy. Like, oh man. And then I ask him about um, the desiccated pig thyroid. He comes back and he actually looked up like some sort of journal and said, oh, you know what? Right here it says we don't. I can't recommend this to you because of the study that was done. I think it was like a study done in like the 60s or 70s. And I'm like, oh man, dang it. So um, I kind of go back deflated, but then I start reading and I read articles that talk about the study he quoted. And they're like, hey, this is super outdated. There's these other studies that rebuke that. It's really safe. Lots of people are using it and having success. And then he would read on forums all these anecdotal stories of people like having great success with it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I start seeing people say, hey, you should see a functional medicine doctor online. And I'm like, huh, what's a functional medicine doctor? So a functional medicine doctor to me is really just a normal doctor. He's an MD. He can write prescriptions. They believe, hey, drugs have their place, but we're going to try to heal you naturally first. We're going to look at what's your nutrition like, what are your toxins like, and what are your hormone levels like, and let's try to get those things in balance. And oftentimes it's not one single thing that's causing you problems. It's like uh, imagine a roof, and there's like 15 little holes in it. Well, you can plug one hole and maybe that'll help a little, but you need to plug them all up and you start feeling a difference once you do that. But anyway, that's kind of functional medicine in a nutshell to me. So I reach out and I find one, and I was living in Houston at the time, and they test me, and they actually do a test for Hashimoto's, and it wasn't that much, and It's an antibody test. It's testing to see if your body is attacking your own thyroid. And sure enough, I tested positive for it. And then later on, I wish I had the article for you, but I think I read the other day that it's actually the most common cause for hypothyroidism. I'm like, man, all this stuff is just really shaking my faith in Western medicine. I used to just always believe the doctor and trust and have complete faith. And I'll be honest with you, I really don't trust Western medicine very much. Surgeons, I think I do, but to me, I question everything now. Anyway, sorry to go on a rant. Uh, so get tested positive. They put me on the desiccated pig thyroid, and sure enough, uh, I start feeling better on this new thyroid medicine. So that was really helpful. The other thing that they tested me for was a gene mutation called MTFHR. And I'm so proud of my doctor for back then. This is like, 12, 13 years ago before a lot of other doctors did this stuff. But anyway, uh, they told me, hey, you're going to have a hard time absorbing B vitamins, is how they explained it to me. I think it's you have a hard time with the methylation process. But anyway, they told me to take methyl B vitamins, and that really improved my energy a lot too. It's like, man, those were some big strides for me in my late 20s and early 30s to get my energy up back a little bit. I still felt like I could have more energy, but I was like, man, this is better at least. And I knew I could be eating a better diet and exercising more. And I always kind of thought if I would do those things, I'd probably feel better. But anyway, so fast forward, I don't really learn much or read much more about it after that. I'm always kind of in my mind, like, why do I have this autoimmune disease? And then, I don't know, I want to say like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, I think I start listening to people like Dr. Hyman and Dr. Mercola and some other people. And at some point, anyway, at some point, um, I hear about heavy metal toxicity and how so many people are walking around with mercury in their mouth. Now, they were always called silver fillings. No one ever told me that my fillings were, 40, 50% mercury. And mercury, I think, is the most toxic metal you can have in your body. It's very neurotoxic. It messes with all kinds of stuff. Um, and so I'm like, whoa, I have a molar, every molar, because I was bad with teeth brushing, every molar had fillings on it. I'm like, gosh, I have a mouthful of mercury. And then I was thinking back too, I had some fillings replaced around the time I got my underactive thyroid. And at the time, I was cheap. They had new materials and they were like, hey, do you want this nice white, like, I don't know if it's porcelain or what it is, but would you like that filling uh, instead of the silver filling? And I was like, well, how much does it cost? He's like, it's only $100 more and it'll look nicer. And I'm like, well, I don't care. Nobody's looking at my molars. So I'd be like, yeah, just throw the silver filling in there. So here they are, they're drilling silver fillings out, which is causing all kinds of mercury vapor. Then they're putting brand new ones in, bigger fillings. Oh, it's just frustrating to think about it. So anyway, but around that time, I think I had three or four replaced at the same time. Um, uh, uh, that's when I experienced my Hashimoto's disease. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. But anyway, back to more like 6 years ago. I'm like, okay, so I need to get these removed, and they said make sure you do it safely because if you get them removed like the normal process, you're gonna breathe in all this mercury and get real sick. So I found a doctor, a biological dentist, sorry, who did a removal, excuse me, called the SMART technique, and it's an acronym. I forget what it's called, but if you want to make sure that you're getting your filling, if you decide to do this, get a doctor who's certified in the SMART technique. Um, or at least they know the difference. But what they do is they put like this cloth over you and it like wraps, there's a hole in it, small hole around this cloth, and it wraps around the tooth that they're going to do. And then they drill out the tooth, but then all that stuff, it can't settle on your face or anything. And you're not breathing it in because you have an oxygen thing over your nose. And then they have a vacuum that's vacuuming it out. And they're protected too, actually. Which, by the way, have you ever heard about dentists being like the number one profession for suicides? What if it was all those years they were breathing in mercury and it was causing them all kinds of neurological issues? Um, there's all kinds of studies of like people being around coal mines and the crime rates being higher and mental illness being higher. Metals just cause all kinds of issues. Anyway, so I get two removed at a time. One because I didn't have all the money. This was all like cash out of pocket. This wasn't on insurance. Um, so I get them all replaced, not two at a time. But let me tell you, every time I got the two replaced, I was sick the next day, and that instantly told me this crap is bothering my body because we're going through all these precautions, and I'm still getting sick the next day. Like I'm in bed, tired, sleeping all day because of how bad it made me feel. So I finally get it, and the last round of two fillings that I got removed, uh, a month later, I'm already like just like I got an upgrade. Like I'm walking around like I just have a little more energy. My digestion's better. My allergies are better. There's just lots of things that are just getting better. I'm like, man, this is great. And about a month or two later, I got tested my full panel for the year, or it's every 2 years, but I happened to get my full panel and my Hashimoto's for the first time since I've been getting it tested, over the 10, 15 years, for the first time, it came back negative. Man, I cried over uh, my blood results because, sorry, I'm getting teary-eyed right now, because like I had tried like going gluten free. Then I tried going like gluten free, dairy free, soy free, corn free, like all of them combined. I tried intermittent fasting and um, tried to read all these different things, and just none of that worked. I did carnivore diet, which is an all meat diet. I did all meat, black coffee, and eggs for 30 days, just thinking maybe this will help my stuff out. And my antibody levels went up during that period. And I was like, Dad gum, I just have this autoimmune disease. There's nothing I can do. But then, gosh, no, it was the dad gum stupid fillings in my mouth that were causing my Hashimoto's disease. So, wow. So for the first time, I test negative, and guys, like, I I go in to see the doctor, and I'm like, hey, this is great. Uh, can we try weaning off my thyroid medicine because the antibody levels show negative? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So I just start weaning down. He just real slowly lowers my milligrams. I go back and I test every 30 days, every 30 to 45 days. Sometimes I'm a little bad about scheduling my blood test. And every time my thyroid levels come back normal. Every time. It's like so exciting. And I think it takes me like a year and a half to just wean off my thyroid medicine. And now I think it's been 2 to 3 months. I've had zero thyroid medicine and I feel completely fine. I saw that my doctor a couple days ago and he verified, yep, you no longer need this. You don't have Hashimoto's anymore. Congratulations. So that's my whole story of Hashimoto's there. Uh, and man, I'm so excited about it. Um, and my next steps, I actually want to get tested for heavy metals in general, and I want to see, gosh, if this stupid mercury was bothering me this much, let's actually get tested and see if I still have mercury stored up in my body. So I'm ordering that. I'm gonna do another YouTube video on that. But you can do rounds of what's called chelation to detox and stuff. But I'll go into that more later. But anyway, uh, if you have uh, if you have those old school silver amalgam fillings in your mouth, go get them removed. You may not even be dealing with issues. It's just not helping your body at all. That's my advice to you. And then, um, but yeah, if you have Hashimoto's especially, you need to be considering that and asking questions about it. Maybe you need to be asking, do I have mercury poisoning? You may not even have any fillings, but maybe you have heavy metal toxicity in your body, and that could be a cause. Most people, they can go off gluten, and not most people, a lot of people can go off gluten and help their Hashimoto's a lot. But anyway, uh, so yeah, after getting all this done, like my digestion is better, my allergies are better. Guys, I used to always be the person with the worst allergies. Like if there's hay fever season, and someone's got allergies, they sneezed once. Well, I've been sneezing like 3 times already. I'm constantly blowing my nose, and I'm just always having bad allergies. Guys, my allergies are now just bad. Like they're not awful anymore. I have periods of time where I can breathe through both nostrils. I haven't experienced that in my whole like adulthood life at least. I can't remember to tell you like when I could breathe through both nostrils. Um, Another random thing, I don't get muscle twitches as often as I used to. Uh, yeah, so digestion, um, my energy level is better, although I still kind of struggle with energy. I feel like I'm someone who needs like 9 hours of sleep a day, and I'm hopeful maybe if I could detox from metals, this could help me some more. But my energy did get better, my digestion got better, and my allergies got better. Those three things mainly. Uh, Gosh, it's so much better without that. Sorry, I'm kind of going on now, guys. Look for the root cause. Medicine is supposed to be looking for the root cause, but unfortunately, we live in a fallen, broken world, and there's all kinds of perverse incentives in our industry. That there's groupthink, and it's like we know about these things called groupthink. We know about mob mentality. We know about we say things like we don't trust the pharmaceutical companies in general. We kind of know these ideas, but then when it comes down to like hearing something from a doctor, doctors mean well and they're well intentioned, just like school teachers can be well intentioned, but we have a broken education system, right? Our doctors are good, well educated guys, they're smart, but I just feel like there's the medical industry in itself is just has perverse incentives, and we need to be asking questions. We need to be doing our own research, trying to find the root cause. And if a doctor tells you just put up with it, you're getting old and this is just part of it, or hey, this is just on your head, you're really okay, the blood tests are fine, you're just a like no, like go ask questions. What's going on? Dig deeper. Do your own research. Um, I heard a comedian talk about this. Like if you're going to buy a used car, uh, y- you wouldn't hear someone say, "Well, just trust the car dealer. Don't do your own research." He knows what he's talking about. No, like do your own research. Um, it's okay to read and ask questions. You're capable to read some studies and understand things and ask questions and say and be humble about it. And say, "Hey, look, I read this study over here. Well, what's going on here? Well, tell me more about that. Okay, so there's a thing called causation. There's correlation. Okay, okay. Well, and then how many studies were there, and was it peer reviewed? Okay, and you're learning about all this stuff, and you start to get a little bit of a grammar. And I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor. Uh, but you can do things. You can research things. You can do this stuff, and you should ask questions and try to get healthier. Now, I need to have more self-discipline, eat healthier. But anyway, okay, I'm dragging on now. I'm sorry. This is an 18-minute video. Oh my gosh. But this is just such a big deal in my life, and so I hope this has been an encouragement to you, and I hope it helps. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to try to answer anything that might help you. If this video has been help to you, I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel or like the video. Thanks. Have a good one.